If you're coming here for the very first time, let me just take you through. Olokun is one of the ancestors we have in Yoruba land, and she's a river goddess in charge of wealth. But I will not be the one to take you through all this. When I want to talk to you, there'll be time to go through the Yoruba methodology to bring all this to you. I'll talk about the media houses that are here with us. On this very special note, I crave with the audience, we all rise for the national anthem, please. Shall we please rise for the national anthem of Nigeria? I want to go through some of the introductions that we have here. And please, once we have some other names, I'll show you other names to be introduced as it were due. Permit me to introduce to you somebody who is here from the High Commission of Malaysia, our home, a very good man. It's been 1 year. Okay. Alonyi Lapa, please put your hands for Alonyi Lapa. Thank you very much. Alonyi Lapa. Easy. Alonyi Lapa. Please let's put your hands together for Alonyi Lapa. don't fall the that is the animal skin that speaks like human being. And for all the things you have just performed, and if you listen to the lyrics with the performances and the drawings, there are messages attached. So for that, tells us our culture is supernaturally unique. And though things will come into dancing, and it will go into the Yoruba methodology and will go into the Yoruba divinity, which says, Mori wasa wasa, moko irilono, meaning I'm walking faster and I'm getting joy along the line. Mori bere bere, moko irilono, walking majestically, then I'll still get joy along the line. Walking like a king, and yet I'll still meet joy on the land. Adiafwe woro babati shomo bibi agbo meregun. Níjọ́ tí bàbá fẹ́ lọ ṣe agbo, wọ́n ní ayoyogo, ayoyogo, ayoyogomo, gomo. Lọ́jọ́ tí bàbá fẹ́ lọ fi yoyora, oyo ayo, oni kó bá gbogbo wa. Meaning, all of us, we all receive the message of victory and message of joy. Please put your hands together for us. Ladies and gentlemen, we are here to promote our culture. Share the new menu, Uju new menu. Ọ̀pọ̀ tọ́jú ọba ṣe lọ́wọ́ lọ́pọ̀ ọgbà gbogbo ọ̀lẹ́jì lórí. Ojú ìbá tí mẹ́ni ọ̀wọ̀ ìbá tí kò ní ṣọ̀bù tàbí kò pọ̀ lọ́yàwó náà ifá fún ibi yẹ ọmọ àjà níwọ̀ àwọn. For all of us, ibi ayé lórí wa. On this very wonderful moment, let me just introduce another group that is promoting our culture. So wonderful group. I know I'm meeting them for another time. We've been wonderful and we've been working together.
Hey!
the ones with the wisdom of the Yoruba understanding will say, Kekere, akekere, uni meji, wani ti diba di meji la dolowo. Meaning, well, the man and the woman coming together before the reproduction, fine. What you have just seen with the step of the dancing of these wonderful people, they have just shown us what our culture is all about. Please put your hands once again for Olokun. Thank you very much. We have the Mobi automation team. Are they here? Please put your hands together if you are here. Mobi automation team, thank you very much. You're welcome. We appreciate you. Adijo Bata, could you please step to the stage? Adijo Bata, please step to the stage. Ayoyo go. Ayoyo go. Ayoyo go mo. While we're waiting for, please permit me to introduce the head cultural, tourism and arts sector, starting Bank POC. She's here with us. She's Abiola Adelana. Please put your hands together for her. You're welcome. Today, we have come to celebrate one of the ancestors of the Yoruba people. Yeye, Olokun, a river goddess in charge of wealth. For the Yoruba people who understand who Olokun is, they will go by this, telling that Olokun is the supreme, the most powerful act of the river goddess. The most powerful. When they want to sing, to show the power of Olokun, they will say, Olokun lagba omi o, Olokun lagba omi. Gbogbo omi ebowo fo Olokun, Olokun lagba omi. It is our belief as a Yoruba people back then in the olden days that if things are not going too well, if you are poor and you can manage to get to Okun, you have money. That is why there's Olokun Seni Ade Okun Oniso Buji. Ladies and gentlemen, permit me now to call to this podium the convener of Olokun Festival 2022, a woman I respect so much, a barrister, a Nigerian, a super Nigerian. Please put your hands together as she comes to the microphone. Ambassador Yeye, Lara, Fashola. Please, let's put our hands together and encourage her.
Our host, the Executive Governor of Lagos State, His Excellency Governor Babajide Sanwo-Olu, the Deputy Governor of Lagos State, His Excellency Dr. Femi Hamzat, the Oba of Lagos, Oba Rilwan Ushuolale Akiolu, His Imperial Majesty Oni Eniton Adeyeye Ogunwusi, the Ojaja II, all royal fathers, Mr. Oba Olasokomi, the country representative of the African Union Economic, Social and Cultural Council, AU ECOSOC, Mr. Suwad Abdul Shuko, Trade Attaché, Malaysia High Commission, Nigeria. Thank you. You're welcome. Honorable Quadri Adu Kende, Head of Culture and Tourism for African Union ECOSOC. Thank you for always. The Chairman, Olokun Foundation, Chief Architect, City of Atlantis, Olosias. All priests and priestesses here present, devotee of Olokun, gentlemen of the press, ladies and gentlemen. It gives me great joy to address Nigerians and Africans through this medium on the forthcoming Olokun Festival 2022. Olokun Festival is a cultural festival celebrated throughout Yoruba land and the diaspora. The main purpose is to unite our people, to the whole world and the whole world, and to showcase the cultural value and heritage of our dear people. The festival, which has been held since the 90s, is organized by the Olokun Festival Foundation and has become so popular that tourists now mark the date in their calendars to attend. It has promoted tourism and cultural value chain to the world at large and makes Africa culture ripe with potential promises. It is high time that all hands are put on deck to systematically transform it into an economic force. This requires a concerted effort, time and attention of every African. The theme for this year's event is the role of African culture in the promotion and development of young Africans. It's very timely and apt to the present situation in the country. My belief is that if culture is properly harnessed, it will increase the GDP of Nigeria and of course of the entire African continent. There is need to enlighten our youth to take their destiny into their hands. They should take due advantage of the continent's rich cultural diversity to develop themselves economically. The promotion of our culture in Africa should have an impact on the way we view life. This gives us an edge among other continents. But contrary to this statement, our culture is being pushed aside for foreign cultures in terms of food, languages, entertainment, and fashion. Promoting the Yoruba culture through the Olokun festival has come to mend the gap by showcasing our culture in the best way possible with our local cuisine, music, fashion, folklore, and others. As a cultural ambassador of the African Union, ECOSOC Nigeria, and as a custodian of the African culture, my job is to support the work of the regional body, which is to promote greater unity and solidarity between African countries and the people, and also to defend Africa's position on issues of the common interest. The better way to achieve these goals is by promoting and driving the relevance of our cultural heritage to our coming generations. The support of the African Union, ECOSOC Nigeria, on Olokun Festival is something worth mentioning. Olokun Festival is in line with Aspiration 5 of the African Union Agenda 2063, which is meant for the future and is to accelerate progress towards continental unity and integration for sustainability of culture and heritage, growth, trade, exchanges of goods, services, free movement of people and capital through establishing a united Africa and fast-tracking economic integration. The aspiration which is in progress is fundamental to our growth as Africans, and if this is properly harnessed, it will surely take our continent to where we all want it to be in future. Ambassadors and high commissioners from Africa and from other countries like Brazil, Venezuela, Cuba, Trinidad and Tobago, Jamaica, Malaysia, France, China, America, Spain, Britain have been invited to come and be part of this year's event on the 26th day of August 2022 at the prestigious Monarch Event Center in Lekki. Part of the program expected at the event will include, but not limited to, cultural displays, Ewe recitation, dance performances, inspired African shows, display of African artifacts, live band of contemporary African music. The window of collaboration is open to all who are interested in working with us at the local foundation. I am sure that this is an healthy beginning of greater things to come to Nigeria and our dear continent in general. Once again, I want to say a very big thank you to our dear Governor, His Excellency Babajide Sanwo-Olu, for creating an avenue for people of different culture and religion to thrive and live together in harmony in Lagos State. Kudos to you, Mr. Governor. To men and women who have toiled endlessly in making this event successful, I want to say thank you. With the power vested in me as the High Priestess of Olokun, I want to declare the festival open. Thank you.
Please, let's put our hands together for her. Thank you very much. Mr. Aberela, Eyanrinrin, Osonu, Adá fún ọ̀gá tí ó gbaṣọ aláṣọgbóra, onítàbí wọn kì í mú wọn tẹ̀lé ẹlẹ́ni ní ìyá wọn lára. Meaning, we are taking people's culture to override our own culture. So based on these, ladies and gentlemen, I'm calling to the microphone somebody I respect, a very master when it comes to our culture. I call him Iru Monle in our culture. Please put your hands for Honorable John Oba. Please put your hands together.
Good afternoon, everybody. All protocol duly observed. I want to appreciate the Yeye for these initiatives, this wonderful privilege to promote our culture. Like I always said, our culture is our identity, and we must not do away with it. When I had the privilege of representing Nigeria on this platform, at the risk of being a jack of all trade and master of none, we decided to focus on African culture. Because our belief is that our culture will solve most of the vices that we're experiencing today. If we imbibe our culture, the issue of corruption will be something of the past. I was discussing with you yesterday, and we're talking about how our culture molds us not to lie. And I said, if we want corrupt-free Nigeria, let's take our leaders to task and let them go by the way of our culture. Once you're elected, you swear by the culture. You understand what I'm saying? And I'm very sure none of them will dare touch a dime because they understand the consequences of what their actions will be. So definitely, our culture is so unique that it baffles one to think that we could be jettisoning such unique culture for something strange. In fact, something that molded us to be what we are not made to be. Our culture, I'm a Yoruba man, and our culture is so unique that everything about Yoruba culture has meaning. Everything. You will never see a parent giving his or her child a name that doesn't have a meaning in Yoruba land. Nothing. Everything about our culture is unique. Our methods of governance. In fact, a lot of us youth don't even know that as Yorubas we have our own method of governance, because we looked away from that and we're looking at the European, the Western culture that is so, to me, so inferior to our culture. Anyway, we have our method of worship, our method of doing business, our marriages are wonderful and unique, and everything about our culture, our manners, we're taught about mannerism right from beginning. That is why you see a typical Yoruba man, we never do something against his family. We all understand. When you misbehave outside, your family will single-handedly disown you. Family. That is it. And that is what gives us that consciousness to be careful. It gives us a whole lot of consciousness about our attitude. So, but what we are seeing these days, it calls for concern. And that is why we must bring our culture back. We must bring our culture back to the fore so that our youth can understand the value of the culture and they can be properly modeled to be the Yoruba people they are supposed to be. So that we allow our culture to be eroded. And that is why we should be proud of our culture. Our dresses as Yoruba is one of the most modest and most decent dressing in any part of the world. Yes, I can defend that any day, any time. You should look at it. Our dressings are very modest, decent, and you won't see any trace of morality or even of immorality in our dressings. Everything about us, we can say, is the best in the world. I'm not only talking about, I'm only using Yoruba as an example. We have unique, wonderful cultures across Africa. Across Africa. Unique cultures. Unique cultures. And we need to bring that back. Just imagine the dance. Imagine the dance. Very, very unique. Everything about us, we should be proud of that. Let's not throw it away. Was talking about a Uriki, Ewi. Some of these things are dying off. I'm very sure some of the youth here cannot even recite their own Ewi, their family Ewi, their family Uriki. They cannot do it because they have thrown it off. And I don't know how you feel when I get to my family and all these are old mothers start giving the Uriki. You feel proud that yes, I'm from this family, because it tells much about your history, it tells much about the value of your family. And that is it. And some of these things are dying off. We must preserve it. We must bring it back so that we will not lose ourselves. We will not lose our identity. That is why I want to call on the government, where the government is supporting, but I want to call on this government for more support for this festival. And also the private sectors, the banks, the private institutions. Look at it. These are one of the areas you can assist the nation. These are some of the areas that you can prove your social responsibility to the nation. Invest in culture. Culture alone can revitalize every aspect of our economy. Culture, without culture, tourism will be nowhere. Culture brings about tourism. People want to see what is happening. They want to know, in fact, that is why you see Brazilians. And it's very funny that even those that are not in Africa, Brazilians celebrate our culture more than all. They celebrate Ifa, they celebrate Olokun, they celebrate Oshun, and you wonder what is wrong with us Nigerians. Those we believe are not part of us, just because we thought they would have lost touch with the culture. They are preserving it fervently, and they are working to uphold the culture. And we should do more. We should do more. And that's why ECOSOC is supporting this totally, because one of our main responsibility is to project African culture according to Aspiration 5 of the African Union Agenda 2063 that talks about Africa with strong cultural identity. Africa with strong cultural identity. People are waking up to understand that our culture must be held strongly. Asians are upholding their culture. And even in the Latin Americans and they are upholding their culture. It's only Africa that decide to embrace the inferior for the original. I think we need to change our mindset. So I want to congratulate you once more. And I want to call on Nigerians, please come participate. Come and see your culture yourself. Instead of reading it in the book, come see it physically, and then you learn more. Thank you so much.
To copy about it. The Yoruba people would say, "Inta bi womo ki bu won, teni eleni ni iya won lara." Adia fun oga ti o lo gba aṣọ aláṣọ bora. If you know what a chameleon is, the original clothes made for chameleon is not what you see on the chameleon. The chameleon will change according to the color around the chameleon. Yes or no? Yes. So, but chameleon will not be original. It's always an inferior animal. So, that is the Yoruba I've just spoken. For those who don't understand, Inta bi womo ki bu won, teni eleni ni iya won lara. Adia fun oga ti o lo gba aṣọ aláṣọ bora. That means you need to be original rather than being inferior. Please put your answers for Honorable Yoruba. On this note, I'm calling on somebody from the great city of Malaysia and from the High Commission of Malaysia to please step forward so at the upload. Please put your hands up for him.
Thank you. Excellencies, distinguished guests, ladies and gentlemen. If you ask me to talk about culture, well, I'm not the person. I'm more into economics, okay, because I'm from trade office, Malaysia, based in Lagos. Relation between Malaysia and Nigeria is dated back to 1960s with the Prime Minister of Nigeria, Abu Bakar Tatawa Balewa, extended friendly relationship with our first Prime Minister, Tunku Abdul Rahman. Since then, both countries enjoy political and economic ties. Economic relations between both countries have flourished and putting the total trade in 2020 at over more than 4 billion USD. The export, we import a lot of things from Nigeria. The top 5 is the tin ores, crude petroleum gas, cocoa bean, and raw aluminium, where Malaysian export more palm oil, crude palm oil to Nigeria. If we are talking about culture, yes, of course, we have a lot of African in Malaysia, more than 400,000 Nigerian in Malaysia. And then if you are talking about Nigeria, it's very close to me because my brother-in-law, a lecturer in the University of Malaysia, is a Nigerian. So he's from Imo State. I've never been there because this is my 1 month and 6 days in Nigeria. I'm still new and still learning. And then with this 1 month and 6 days, I think your country is so beautiful. Lot of with 250 ethnics, 500 language. I think you are very rich with all this culture. And I'm looking forward to know more about your culture this coming 26th of August. Okay, and thank you for inviting me to this event, and then I look forward for next event. Thank you.
Let's put your hands together for the man who is ready to see what our culture is like. And definitely, once you get to know our culture, you take it back to Kuala Lumpur to tell them that things are brilliant. Please put your hands together for him. On this note, I'm going to call somebody also from the African Union, a brother, a mentor, and a confidant. Please put your hands for Honorable Quadri Abdul Kennedy. I think I deserve more than that, please. Thank you. Yes, our culture, my culture, your culture, our culture. Because we can't rule it out. Because when God created the world, even from the scriptures, know that God did not play with culture. That is why you see Christians, they know that they have to be in church in the morning. And then when you are going to the church, some churches you don't wear shoe to enter the church. And as a Muslim too, I don't think anybody can enter mosque with a shoe. That is culture, religiously. When we talk of culture, my boss has said a whole lot of things about what we can benefit as individuals, as young Africans, what we can benefit for upholding our culture. Because when you look around, when we say culture, it involves a lot of things. Culture, from culture you have fashion. Look at the way our mothers, our brothers, look at the way they dress today. It's so beautiful, look at them. From culture, you talk of our cuisine, our food. You know, when you go around Africa, you see good food. You know, of recent, when we get to Zanzibar, I was looking for where to eat Yoruba food. You know, because as for me, even if I travel out of this country, for 3 days, if I don't eat any Nigerian food, I may become very sick. You know, so as a result of this, we have a whole lot of opportunities, potentials, you know, that we can work on to develop our country, our continent. And what is bringing Nigeria and other continents together is through our culture. Of recent, we were with a Cuban ambassador, and when he started talking about their culture. It's like Yoruba culture, no difference. You go to Brazil, like he has rightly said, this Olokun head, the Brazilians are worshipping it like, you can't even, where they mounted Olokun in the city of Bahia, you can't throw something, you can't throw dirt into it, you'll be arrested. And that's to show you that we need to really nurture our culture to something we really want it to be. It's a clarion call on youth of this country. Don't say I don't have a job. Don't wait for God. You have said it. Our destiny should be in our hand. At this point in time, there is a whole lot we can do. There is a whole lot of potentials, advantages that we can get through culture. And that's what we've been promoting. As the head of culture and tourism for the African Union Economic, Social and Cultural Council, we've been relating with notable organizations. We've been relating with viable organizations and individuals alike to see that we promote our culture for the betterment of Africa, for the betterment of Nigeria as a whole. Don't feel demoralized. Don't feel disenchanted that the economy is not good. One day, by the special grace of God, we'll get to the promised land. Thank you.
For Mr. Honorable Quadri Adukande, I appreciate that. In the Ifa community, there's something referred to this, and I'm going to bring it out. Ayoyogo, ayoyogo, ayoyogo mongomo. Lọ́jọ́ tí bàbá fẹ́ lọ fi yọ̀yọ́ra, ó ní ọ̀rọ̀ ayọ̀, òun ní kó bá mi. Gbogbo wa tá a wà ní ọ̀rọ̀ ayọ̀ ló máa bá wa. Ladies and gentlemen, I'm bringing to the microphone Head of Culture, Tourism and Art Sector, standing by. Please make welcome Mrs. Abiola Adela.
Afternoon, everybody. Please permit me to stand on existing protocol, but I would love to appreciate Yeye or Lara for this special invite. And I must say, well done for all the amazing things you're doing. Because it's more than amazing to see a young, agile, educated, beautiful woman embracing our cultures. She's not only embracing it, she's the custodian herself, and she's so proud of it, you know. Like I was introduced, my name is Abiola, and I head tourism and art sector for Sterling Bank. And people wonder when they say we have this desk in a financial institution. So Sterling Bank remains the only financial institution as of today that has a dedicated desk for culture, tourism, and arts. And why are we looking at that sector? Number one, I would say culture. Our culture is our heritage. Permit me to read something I saw interesting on social media recently. They said Nigerians are scared of Yemoja but love Little Mermaid. You know, we see little children watch these cartoons and stuff. You know, where we see our culture as very demonic. They say Shango is evil, but Do is their hero. They adore storm, but they don't want nothing to do with oil. They are in love with Aquaman, but they hate Olokun. You know, we have been indoctrinated to hate ourselves and love and enslave us. That is very pathetic. There's one thing I always love and appreciate about an Hausa man. I've worked in one organization that's headed by Hausa people. It's a financial institution too. But the way you can get yourself into the heart of the MD is for you to speak Hausa to him because he's an Hausa man. If you're abroad and you see an Hausa man, if you want him to just like you immediately, speak Hausa to him and he will respond in Hausa. But you see our Yoruba people, you speak Yoruba to them and they're responding back in English because we feel we're very sophisticated. We don't value what we have. As a tourism financial expert, my goal is actually to create financial and economical empowerment and offering for this sector. Religious tourism is one of the major opportunities that we have as a nation. We cannot compete with the likes of Dubai and the Western world. We don't have all those sophisticated infrastructure, but we have what we have, which is our religion. The past speakers have said something about the Brazil, the Cubans, and how so much they actually embrace and love our culture. We see Brazilian craving to be industrial. They call it naturalization. They want to become Yorubas. They want to come and worship what we despair, what we don't love. So it's actually I'm calling on governments. For us in Sterling Bank, we're not working on this part alone. And that is why we love to associate with all of the stakeholders in this space, so that we get to understand this space better and know how we can provide both financial and economical offerings for this space. From the government to the private stakeholders to the culture custodians, the urbans, and I'll tell the Olokun worshippers that they should not feel like they're second-class citizens. They should hold their religion with pride, and we should not make it die. And that is why we must appreciate people like Yeye, Lara, for being bold about it. And letting the world know that you can be educated and still be proud of your culture. And we begin to sensitize the youth. I had a session with her yesterday, and I had this changed mindset when she told me about all of the stories around Olokun and all of that. So a lot of people need this awareness. You don't have to make it look like a demon, like a fetish stuff. So our culture is not fetish, So thank you, everybody. I didn't prepare for a speech, but it is what it is. Thank you very much.
There's one thing that is very important we need to know. In the dynasty of the people, the African people, the black people, we have 3 dynasties. 3. Number 1 is Ife Odaye. Ife Odaye existed for thousands of years. And during the time before Odaye, you have supernatural being living in Odaye, and it was purely supernatural being. But because Ife Odaye ended with fraud, for those who survived Ife Odaye, they now call Ife Oyelago. Oyelago in Yoruba means I survived. Ife Oyelago now supernatural being and human being living with them together. But these people now at the simplest opportunity of speaking with Olokun directly without anyone interfering. So what they did was just, they wanted to see who Olokun is. Now they started building castles so they can get there. Olokun understand because of the love you have for them. I said, if these people have the opportunity of seeing me, there will be no respect. Hence the difference in our languages. Because we have different languages, so they couldn't go ahead with building the castle. They have different languages. If you are talking to the man, please let me have brick. He will bring spanner. Let me have spanner. So the difference in language now caused the end of Ife Oyelago. Now coming to the 3rd dynasty, which you are called Ife Akanlupepe. Akanlupepe in Yoruba history and Yoruba methodology is what we call survey. And that is what we have now. In Yoruba man, we have natural boundaries. Rivers, mountains, stuff like that. And if I speak my own dialect, and you speak your dialect, we know that we have our boundaries. Akanlupepe was just the source of the difference in our languages. If I now said something, or thank God our father, please let's see our fathers are there. These are people from the core traditional institution. What can tell us the meaning of this? In Ifa, Eleri, people who don't know like she said, Ifa, Eleri will tell you the way to go. If things are very difficult, they go to Ifa. Olomila will tell them this is what you're supposed to do. But for us as the father, what we don't believe or what we don't appreciate, it's what the foreign people now come, they just have to spice and add little things and we start. It will be funny if somebody is wearing bulletproof and it's been shot, nothing happened. It's technology. Nobody will see anything wrong. But if the man, a Yoruba man, a call Yoruba man, is putting on what we call attack, once they are shooting and nothing is happening, please run away. This man, let me just say something about where is Loke? This woman you're looking at, this woman, she's a supernatural human being. It's not about hyping. When she comes and when she does her duty, you know she's supernatural. Don't look at the physique, look at the content. The content is supernatural.
Ekason, Winnie. Orúkọ mi ni Adérónkẹ́ Owóṣeré Ọmọ Oòduà. Welcome to this beautiful August occasion. I'd like to thank Yeye, Lara, Fashola. Thank you so much for having us. It is an honor to be here. And something I really like, so I have a few notes here, but I'll probably not be going with it because a lot of the things that the speakers have said have just made me want to be more spontaneous with my conversation. So as a Nigerian growing up in Nigeria, one of the things that I noticed, I didn't even notice till maybe a year or so ago because that was when I started becoming aware, right, is that I know absolutely nothing about my roots. I do not know anything about what, for example, I'm from Ogun State, Ijebu-Igbo precisely, and if you ask me about if you had asked me as at last year where the story of Ogun started from, I wouldn't have been able to say anything. Why? Because these are things that are not taught in our schools. You go to history class and you're talking about the history of the British Empire, and then even if we're talking about Nigeria's history, there are a lot of things that are missing. A lot of stories are mistold, and it's just emptiness. A lot of Nigerian youth, I'm sure in a good 90%, of course, these are not correct statistics, but just looking at what is, even on social media, a good 90% of people do not know a single thing about the history of this country. And the thing is that, I'll try to say this in Yoruba, Ti Omo Oba Mobi To Ti Nbo. Okay, I can't complete it in Yoruba, but I'll just go to English to say it. And that is also a problem because I, as a Yoruba person, and I am happy that everybody exclaimed, the fact that I, as a Yoruba person, am not able to express myself as explicitly in Yoruba as I would be able to in English, it's appalling. It's a problem, right? But what I was just trying to communicate is that if I do not know where I'm coming from, I will not be able to carry myself appropriately the way I'm supposed to in the world. A child who does not know her history, who does not know his history, will not be able to stand as he or she ought to. But a few weeks ago, I started last year, but really a few weeks ago, especially when I learned that I'll be speaking at this, at the Olokun festival, I decided to begin to do some research, and I found out about Oduduwa, Orunmila, Obatala, all of those things, and I see that there's so much richness of culture that is getting lost, that is getting eroded per time, per day, per minute, per year. And if we keep going down this track, there's a chance that in the next 50 years, children who are born will probably not even be able to say, yes ma, ekaro, ekaso, ekale. They will not be able to communicate in this beautiful, beautiful language. And I have not said where I am from. I am from Mobi Automation. Mobi Automation is a technological company of the 21st century. We are into blockchain technology, software engineering, and you might be wondering, what does software engineering have to do with the Olokun Festival? Absolutely everything. We are looking to tokenize culture, and tokenize might be a big word, but just think of presenting culture in such a way that it lives forever. Imagine having all of these antiquities that we have from time immemorial, all of the artifacts, all of them, being able to preserve them, being able to take them and communicate the essence of their being to everybody in the world. Imagine a situation where a person, a Nigerian in Australia, or an Australian who wants to know about Nigeria, can actually go on a tour via VR. It's called virtual reality, and you're able to experience the old Benin Kingdom. You're able to experience the stories of Olokun, Olosa, everything. Beautiful. And that is exactly the kind of technology that we're building. We are partners with the Olokun Festival, with the Olokun Foundation. Thank you so much again, Yeye, Lara, Fashola. It is such a big honor to be part of this mission. And yes, it is a mission to ensure that in the next 200 years, the Yoruba culture, the Benin culture, the culture of every major tribe in Nigeria and in Africa at large is still so alive, and it is told the right way. Because something that is very important is that if we leave the essence of who we are to other people to tell, they will not tell our stories right. They will not tell it the way it ought to be told. They will tell it to their own advantage, and that is the mission that we are on. We are here to tokenize culture. We are here to ensure that the essence of African culture is preserved and is passed across. And one very important thing, right, and I love that Lara Fashola mentioned it, is that culture single-handedly could be able to raise or skyrocket the GDP of any country. I mean, we go to Brazil and we hear of all these Brazilian festivals, you see them looking so beautiful. People go there particularly, they pay lots of money to be able to see all of these things. So what exactly is wrong with us in Nigeria? Right? So we are also looking towards ways to integrate technology into the monetization of culture, to ensure that the custodians of culture are able to harness the innate capacity of our traditions and be able to, of course, make money, and in the long run be able to raise the standard of living in Nigeria, be able to raise the face of Nigeria in the world, be able to basically transform the economic structure of this country by doing all of these things. And I hope that everybody here will take new interest, as I recently have, in learning about culture, in looking for ways to contribute to culture, in looking for ways to sustain culture. Again, I am Aderoke Fowoshere of Mobi Automation. Thank you so much.
In their own wisdom, we will say this. And it is always for those who understand the Yoruba methodology very well. Before Yoruba man would go ahead by Yoruba belief. Ṣẹ́gbẹ́ ni ò mẹ́ni ọba, òjò ni ò mẹ́ni ọ̀wọ̀. Ọ̀pọ̀ èèyàn tí òjò bá ṣe lọ́wọ́ lọ́pọ̀ ògbà, gbogbo wọn lè jí ń dá lé lórí. Òjò bá ti mẹ́ni ọ̀wọ̀, ìbá ti pọ̀ ní Ṣàngó tàbí kó pọ̀ lọ́ya. Àwọn ni wọ́n dífá fún Ibíyẹ̀ ọmọ àjà níwàrún. Ǹjẹ́ ọkàn rẹ̀ yẹ bàbá Ibíyẹ̀ lórí mi, Ibíyẹ̀ lórí mi. For those who don't understand what I've just said, Ṣẹ́gbẹ́ in Yoruba, it's that a slave doesn't value who a king is. Ojo ni o meni. Ojo doesn't have, you know what, rain doesn't have any value for anybody. I have no respect for nobody. Ojo ni o meni owo. Ojo ibati meni owo. Ibati po ni Ṣàngó tàbí kó pọ̀ lọ́ya. Oni Ṣàngó and Oloya, they are the people in charge of rain. Yet, rain will not give respect to them. When it's raining, Oni Ṣàngó and Oloya will be part of those who rain. Ibíyẹ̀ in the story of Yoruba, lórí ẹsẹ̀ Ifá kẹrìndínlógún Torula. Ibíyẹ̀ ọmọ Ọ̀rúnmìlà ni. So Ibíyẹ̀ will always be going around saying, Ibíyẹ̀, meaning for me today, I have survived whatever bad thing that's going to happen. Ibíyẹ̀ lórí mi. But when you say Ibíyẹ̀, to some people, Ibi means bad thing happening. But Ibíyẹ̀, Adíá fún Ibíyẹ̀, Ibíyẹ̀ lórí ọkàn yẹ́yẹ́yẹ́, Ibi ti yẹ lórí ẹni kọ̀ọ̀kan wa. A lot of people, when somebody came to me and told me, am I Babalawo? No, I am not. But it's important to learn our culture. And the importance of our culture will always make you stand out. I love what I'm seeing here. And I will go home to tell the person I'm supposed to tell about what I'm seeing here. Ibita wa yi, Olokun la wa ṣe, Ẹ̀gbẹ́ Òkun la wa, Ajé wa ń bí o. It is important tí ọba wa sẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tó wá ṣiṣẹ́ lẹ́kọ̀ọ́ tí ọba ró ń lọlé ẹ̀bẹ̀ lọ́wọ́ ẹ̀. Torí mẹ́ta ni wọ́n. Sir, Mr. Kennedy àti Mr. John mẹ́ta ní ọmọ tó ọjọ́ bí papọ̀. Bẹ̀rẹ̀ three, ìyá kan náà bàbá kan náà ló bí wọn. Iyì, ẹ̀tẹ́ àti ajé. Iyì, ẹ̀tẹ́ àti ajé. Iyì, gbàtọ́ dàgbà tó fẹ́ kú. Torí pé àwọn èèyàn fẹ́rẹ̀ àwọn ọba ní kó máa bọ̀. Ó kú sí ààfin ọba. Tó bá fọmọ kékeré jọba lẹ́yìn gbogbo ayé ló máa bù yìí fún. Ajé ìgbà tó ń dàgbà tó fẹ́ kú torí pé òun kì í báyàn kankan ṣe àfahàn tó bá súnmọ́ wọ́n wá wábi tó máa kú sí ó lóun bọ̀ ó wá tan àwọn èèyàn mò ń bọ̀ ó kú wọn mọ́ bí tó kú sí òun ló fà á dé ní everybody àwọn ajé kiri ni torí pé àmọ́ bí tí ajé kú sí ẹ̀tẹ́ I'm sorry ẹ̀yin máa ń tẹ̀ wá bí ẹ má bí bàbá ṣe kó parọ́ ní o ìgbà tẹ́tẹ́ fẹ́ kú ẹ̀tẹ́ àwọn obìnrin fẹ́ràn rẹ̀ kò kí ń jẹ́ ẹ̀tẹ́ nígbà àwọn obìnrin fẹ́rẹ̀ ìgbà tó wá fẹ́ kú ibi ẹsẹ̀ ìtàn àwọn obìnrin ló kú sí. Olófà lẹ́nìí tí bó ṣe wù kẹ́ ẹ dàgbà tó kẹ́ ẹ jẹ́ 100 years ìjọ tẹ́ ẹ bá ti fọwọ́ kan ètò obìnrin ìjọ ẹ̀lẹ́tẹ̀ ti bẹ̀rẹ̀. Á pè yín ní orúkọ nínú kó pè yín bébì bí ilé ayé ṣe rí nìyẹn èmi kọ́ bó ṣe wà ní. On this note máa pè àwọn èèyàn kí àwọn èèyàn ẹ bá pàtó fún àwọn èèyàn torí èkó èèyàn àwọn àìkọ́ máa bọ̀ agbọ́dọ̀ mọ mò ń sọ kankan lẹ́ẹ̀kan ẹ má kó ọ̀pá.
Ẹ foríjì mi ẹ jẹ́ ìsọ́lé ní agbègbè torí àṣà ìpínlẹ̀ wa làwọn gbé lárugẹ àti ìṣẹ̀ṣẹ̀ wa yóò ṣe nípa ẹ foríjì mi. Mo kí ọba ọlọ́run ọba Elédùmarè ọba àkọ́kọ́ mo wá kí ọba nílùmọ́nà rẹ̀ mú sọ́lá olùtẹ̀kọ́mbí kọ́pẹ́ ẹ̀kọ́ fọwọ́ pa ọkọ̀ fún ìdíjọ́bí mo wá kí èyí mo kí gọ́fúnà wa mo kí dẹ́pútì gọ́fúnà wa Ọbáfẹ́mi Hamzat Quadri kọ́ ṣe pẹ́pẹ́ àwọn àti bàbá wa Aṣíwájú Bọ́lá Ahmed Tinubu èyí tó ń wò lọ́wọ́ wájú báyìí ṣíkú tó ló gbómi kú báyìí lọ́nà àríyá ṣẹ̀bẹ̀ ìbá àwọn àgbàlagbà tó wá jókòó ń bí ìbá aláwòrán ẹ̀yọ́ of Lagos Adébọ́lá Ọlámilékan Dòsùnmù ìbá ilé ní báyìí odídẹrẹ́ kí kú sóde wá jẹ òun tó bá wà ilé lẹ́bọ̀ yìí wọ́n sí Adélayọ̀ ìbá ọkùnrin ìbá obìnrin tó wá jókòó ń bí o ajúṣe fún wa o ìyá mi Yeye Lara Fashola ẹ ti ń ṣe bọ̀ ẹ ṣe pẹ́ ẹ ṣe gbó ẹ ṣe tọ́ ọ̀rọ̀ tí fẹ́ sọ nílé ní ọ̀rọ̀ ìṣítí ni torí ipò ṣàlọ́wà àìsípò pé èèyàn ló sọ ẹja gbàṣà wà lárugẹ ohun tá a bá ní ṣíṣe ńlé wa gbogbo orúkọ Yorùbá ló ní ìtumọ̀ bẹ́ẹ̀ náà kò ń ṣe nílẹ̀ Yorùbá nìkan láwọn ìlú mi náà orúkọ wọn ní ṣùgbọ́n àwa pàtàkì ilẹ̀ Yorùbá láti fẹ́ odò dáyé débi tó fi délé mi ètò tó gbélé yìí láti ní ìlọsíwájú ìṣe àṣà kọ́ṣọ̀ kó lè tẹ̀síwájú ní gbogbo Áfíríkà pátápátá tó fi dé Europe ní ọlọ́run ọba tó lè tukọ̀ náà á jẹ́ ẹni tó tukọ̀ náà ọlọ́run ajé òtúpẹ́ ọjọ́ gbogbo pípẹ́ lòún ṣe ilé àárọ̀ gbogbo ẹni tó gbóhùn yìí ṣàṣẹ ẹni délé kókó ọmọ èyí tá a ṣe èyí tó fi máa di 26, 27 ojú wa náà ló máa ṣe àgégé tó gé tọdún yìí báyìí á gé tẹ̀mí á gé nígbàgbà ewé ńláńlá yóò wà ní irú wẹ́wẹ́ ọlá ńlá yóò ní padà yìí wọ́n á fẹ́ gbà yọ̀ǹda ká tó tẹ̀síwájú lórí ètò yìí ó létò tó jẹ́ ká ṣe síwájú fẹ́ni tí a fi pàṣẹ débí torí láìsí òkè kò sílẹ̀ o tókè bá wà nílẹ̀ wà bẹ́ẹ̀ ni ìfẹ́ gbà yọ̀ǹda lọ́wọ́ àwọn aláṣẹ nígbà yẹn kàná fẹ́rẹ́ ló máa ń pè lédè àwọn bàbá wa láṣẹ àwọn bàbá ńlá wa wọ́n ní látọjọ́ tó ti ń bọ̀ kò tẹ́rí kò dẹ̀ ní tẹ́ tó fi dásìkò tó fi débi tó dé báyìí wọ́n ní látọjọ́ tó ti ń bọ̀ ṣé kò tẹ́rí kò kò tẹ́rí o kò ní tẹ́ lórí àwọn ará ìsàlẹ̀ ẹ̀dọ̀ kì í kú nílé dàwa Òṣùgbó Òṣùgbó ikó kòkò olúwa kókó mú yẹ wọn. ẹ̀ ni wọ́n fẹ́ ṣì báyìí níwájú lè yí wa àgbàyàn dájọ́ ètò tó ní protocol ó lè láti lọ fún ìjọba.
Ago. Ago.
Ẹ̀la.
Ago.
Ẹ̀la. Olokun dúdú eyín ẹ̀ funfun afa ìbánijẹ ṣùgbọ́n ìṣòro kan wá gbó òkè báyìí àbò owó wa àbò ọ̀dọ́ wa àbò ìwà iyì tó wá gùn fún yín báyìí kò ní tán ní sáré àwa rí bí àṣẹ. ilé tó rọ́lọ́ àwọn àṣẹ ilé One thing that when you sit down and analyze it, you see that it's the basic truth. Arọ pípẹ́ lowú ṣarọ́ lágbẹ̀dẹ, owú
owó kò kì í kú. Wọ́n tún wá sọ kankan nínú if you belong to the inner carcass, ẹ̀dọ̀ kì í kú, ẹ̀dọ̀ kì í lù, ẹ̀dọ̀ kì í kú nílé ni. Àbí bàbá? Bàbá ṣé mo bàbá? Ẹ̀dọ̀ kì í kú, ẹ̀dọ̀ kì í lù. Wọ́n máa ń fi ẹ sílé nìyí. And that is just ilé ayé. Ilé ayé will never expire. Will come, will leave, will come, will leave. But for people who say, ẹ̀dọ̀, ògùn náà ṣe. Ibi tó bá yé wa mọ́ ni o. Ibi tó bá yé wa mọ́ ni o. Mùsùlùmí ni mí, but I studied our culture. And I'm still telling you, I've enjoyed being a cultural person. And the city of Belo Horizonte in Brazil.
Wọ́n wà níbí, àwọn Kìrìsìtẹ́nì wọ́n wà níbí, Mùsùlùmí wà níbí, Ìgbò wà níbí, Haúsá wà níbí báyìí. Ìyẹn ló jẹ́ pé kí ìmúra kó yàtọ̀. Àmọ́ tó bá di ọjọ́ yẹn gangan, ẹ rí i pé èmi gan fúnra mi tí mo ti fẹ́ fi àdìrẹ mi rán. Bóyá kẹ̀mẹ́ tẹ̀sọ yẹn ni tí máa wọ agbádá lè wọ́n kódà àgbẹ̀tí ajá mi pàápàá. Ó lọ àbí.
Ọdún fún yín tàbí tẹ fúnra yín gbà ẹ̀mí kábàámọ̀ nínú rẹ̀. Ìbéèrè tí mo wá fẹ́ béèrè lọ́wọ́ yín gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọ̀dọ́mọbìnrin amọ́lẹ́wà tó dùn wò láàárín ìlú.
Ó yà kó láìpẹ́ ya ti gbé ya.
Tó wá gbé àṣà àti ìṣe lárugẹ. Ẹ jọ̀ọ́ ṣé wọ́n jíṣẹ́ fún yín ni àbí ohun yìí láti máa ṣe?
Ẹ ṣe mo dúpẹ́ láìpẹ́ wípé ọmọ ọba ò ní rèmí nílé Ifẹ̀. Ṣé wá rí bàbá mi náà ọmọ ọba ni bàbá ẹ̀ nílùú Èkó. Ìyá tó bí mi lọ́mọ ọmọ ọba ni nílùú Benin. Ìyẹn rí pé gbogbo ẹ̀jẹ̀ ni ọba ọmọ ọba ni mí látòkè dé sàlẹ̀. Àkìwá rọ̀mọ ọba ká má rí Dànsákì. Ẹ tó bá ka ìtàn Ọọ̀ni Adémilúyì tẹ́ bá kà àbí kẹ́ṣẹ̀ lọ kà ẹ rí pé ajagun Adémilúyì alágbára akọni bàbá náà. Tí orú ẹ̀jẹ̀ èèyàn bẹ́ẹ̀ bá dẹ̀ wà nínú veins wa ó yẹ kẹ́ mọ̀ pé ọmọ tí ẹkùn bá bí jọ lóòótọ́ nígbà tá a wà kékeré wọn ò fi ìṣẹ̀ṣe tọ́ wa hàn àmọ́ ẹ̀jẹ̀ ní agbára púpọ̀. Mo kàn rí pé nígbà tí gbogbo àwọn ẹgbẹ́ mi bá ń lọ sí sinimá kan fẹ́ lọ wo movies èmi á máa hàn níbi pé kí n lọ wo eégún àbí kí n lọ wo àwọn cultural troupes tó ń perform. Mo ṣàrí pé tradition yẹn ṣá inú ẹ̀jẹ̀ mi ló wà. Àdúpẹ́ fún Elédùmarè. Ìpè ni o ìpè ni mo dẹ̀ dúpẹ́ pé mo gba ìpè náà torí látọjọ́ tí mo ti gbà mi ò kábàámọ̀. Ọlá ń lọ síwájú gẹ́gẹ́ bí ọmọ Olókun àti ẹ̀gbọ́n márùn-ún mọ́. Ọlá ń lọ síwájú àwọn èèyàn sí ìgbéga dẹ̀ǹdẹ̀ àdúpẹ́.
Ẹ bá gba àtẹ̀wọ́ fún wọn. Yeye ẹ fún mi rántí àwọn ẹ̀yìn bàtà. Ìyá ń wọ́n fẹ́ lẹ́kún ọjà rẹ̀. Ìyá.
Lara Fashola. Please with a resounding applause. Let's just hear her. She's doing a good job. I mean, seeing a young, I describe her as an embodiment of knowledge. I mean, I see a young woman looking so beautiful and promoting culture because she's been doing this for long, and this is what's commended. Well done, Ma. All right, ladies and gentlemen from the media, if you have questions, please signify by raising your hands, so we do this quickly. All right, so you just tell us your medium and you ask your question. Okay, from there.
The Olokun Festival is a cultural festival. From some of us who are in tourism, culture is just the content you use to sell tourism. Like the MC said, it is all about money. It's not just about holding on the culture, but it's also the money that it brings. Now, you've been running this festival for a couple of years. It has not yet gotten, as maybe I stand to be corrected, as into the tourism calendar, the national tourism calendar of Nigeria, so that maybe at every year we know from so and so period to so and so period the festival will hold. Now the question is, how are you going to make this not just to come into the national tourism calendar, so that anybody, because like he traveled from Nigeria to go to Brazil, it is something he already aware, he knows about the festival, and they made his arrangement so that foreigners too, who might wish to come and attend and also be savour the rich culture that you are displaying, will be able to do that. So how are you doing that? Thank you very much.
Thank you for that question. Worldwide. For this festival, we have so many people coming from the diaspora. We have people coming in from Cuba, from Trinidad and Tobago, Brazil, North America, South America, UK, Ghana. We have the Ghanaian king, the Ga king is coming. I spoke to him yesterday. Last year, we also had so many people come from the diaspora. Maybe you were not here at the press conference, because we had a press conference held, last year, also here at the same venue. And we had so many people from the US, from Cuba, Brazil, and then Jamaica. Also, let me take you back. Remember that we were nursing the pangs of the pandemic last year, so it was not as much as we hoped it would be. But this year, the pandemic is not so much around, and so we're expecting people. And we are also working tirelessly, of course, to answer your question about the calendar thing. I'm working tirelessly with my team. You can see the Nigeria's representative at the African Union is here seated. We also have the head of culture and tourism by the name Honorable Kende Adu. We will get there soon. We will get there soon. Thank you.
Thank you very much. As a follow-up now, Ente is asking a question. Okay, please just hold it. Ente is asking a question, and the question is, what is the importance of traditional worship, Sheshe? And then, August 20 is the Sheshe Day. Why has our government not considered a holiday for the traditional worshippers, just like the Christians and the Muslims?
The importance of traditional worship. Well, as a custodian of the traditional religion, the importance of this religion is that, we do things the way it was done of old, and we get answers, quick answers. I practice Isheshe fully, and I know that every time I make propitiations, I get answers. Secondly, August 20, well, this question should not be directed at me. I think Mr. Idowu Johnson should answer on behalf of the Lagos State government, because he's representing the Ministry of Tourism, Arts and Culture. Is he here? Oh, I saw him.
Let's hold it down so that all this.
I don't know why. I don't know why. Okay.
Thank you very much. Of recent, the stakeholders in culture and tourism, we met in Abuja. And one of the things we're looking at is to come up with because not only culture alone, even tourism, we do have a viable calendar for our activities. But I want to tell you that some states have started, like Osho State. Sterling Bank sponsored about 2 years ago when they launched their roadmap, and then Lagos State government has done that too. But at the national level, the director of domestic tourism, we met about 2 weeks ago at a dinner, and one of the things we discussed is that we need to come up with a viable calendar, because it will help us a lot. For example, now people know that August 26 they should be in Lagos to attend Olokun festival. And I believe that with time we are going to come up with that. Thank you.
All right, many thanks. Now I move to the next over there. Please let us know your medium and your name, please. Thank you.
Good afternoon, religion. My second question, how can culture be used to address the issue of ethnicity difference vis-a-vis the full amnesty crisis that's going on and the obedience in the Lagos State saga? Then the third question, should religion form basis of selecting leaders in a society, or the cultural value the individual person has for selection of the leadership vis-a-vis the Muslim ticket of the APC saga that's ongoing? Thank you very much.
Thank you. We pray, the way we talk, the language we speak, the way we dress is all part of culture. Thank you. The second question. I am not a government official. I think a government official should be in the best position to answer that question. Yes.
No, really, I think you should say something in regards to this, especially considering the Muslim ticket. You know, election is just around the corner, 2023, and the local Nigerians really. There are different religions, okay? But the major ones that people talk about is Christianity and the Muslim. So we want to know what then happens if we continue to advocate a Muslim ticket or Muslim Christian ticket. What happens to other religions?
That's a big one. Anyway, you see, I have often said that religion, we have so many religions in the world, over 4,000 religions. So if we begin to address the issue of religion, we may not get anywhere. So I am really not in a position to talk about politics on this platform, because I also happen to belong to a very prominent party. You know, and we are here solely to promote the culture. That's why we're here. Thank you.
Good afternoon.
I am not just a promoter of the culture. I practice the traditional religion, true and true. And the reason why we celebrate festivals to start with is because our forebears, our ancestors, made promises to the Orishas that they would celebrate them yearly. Just like the Christians celebrate Christmas and the Muslims celebrate Eid al-Kabir or Eid al-Fitr, you know. And it is usually a platform where prayers are being offered for 1 year, and then the following year you come back to thank God, to thank Olodumare for the results, you know, of your prayers. So this is what I stand for. This is what I've been doing. Yes, I am aware that there is another festival done in Badagry. But you see, I am not from Badagry. I am from Lagos Island and Ile-Ife. I always take part in the World Olokun Festival, which takes place in Ile-Ife yearly, and that takes place during the month of April. So you see, the Orishas can be celebrated at any time of the year by different individuals as they deem it fit. What we're doing is way beyond celebrating Olokun. We are promoting the culture of our people as Africans. Thank you.
As festivals. In each of the states, we have different festivals that we celebrate. Like in Osun now, in the whole year, if Osun is to celebrate festival, it's only 1 day in the whole year that they will not celebrate festival. And each of the festivals are unique. So when you unify them, you invariably destroy some of the uniqueness of those festivals. And I think it's to our own advantage not to unify, because it will give us a privilege to also promote our tourism sector. If we promote those festivals, we improve on our tourism. People coming to Osun every day of the year to see each of the festivals. You increase the GDP of Osun State, you promote every aspect of the Nigerian culture, be it agriculture, be it selling of fabrics, be it every aspect is promoted. So unification would mean that you are shooting yourself on the field by destroying the privilege that culture will have brought to tourism. So I think
because it has been infused. If you look at every song that is being sung by our local artists, even the international artists, you will hear Yoruba language in it. You will hear Yoruba language in it. And even if you don't, that product may not even sell. So you see the likes of Davido, Whiskey, you know, Two-Face, Nice, every one of them is singing now in the local dialect. So I think that our culture has been infused into entertainment. Thank you.
Thank you. When we talk of our culture, you know, the greatest, I don't want to say the British, they tried, you know, for us, but it's not much. When you look at our curriculum, you know, not only you have land, you know, but Africa as a whole, our curriculum is not something to write home about. Everything is westernized. And that is why between 15th and 17th of September, the African leaders, let me say in the education sector, they were meeting in Pretoria, South Africa, to discuss how our curriculum, our culture can be infused into our curriculum. Because when you look at it now, even history are not being taught in most schools in Nigeria now. And then that is to tell you what the Western world, you know, the impact they have on our governance, you know, to tell our people not to know about our culture. Because what people will be reading, children will be pupils, you know, right from primary school, will be reading is about Charles Dickens. But it's high time we bring culture into our curriculum, so that right from primary school, our children will know much about our culture. It's not now, some people are just hearing about Olokun now. So they should teach us about Olokun from primary school. Thank you.
Orúkọ tèmi ni Adéníjì Adétúnjì láti iléeṣẹ́ KBC TV. Mo fẹ́ bi Yeye wa léèrè ìbéèrè kan tó pín sí ọ̀nà méjì. Ìbéèrè àkọ́kọ́ lọ báyìí pé kí ni àǹfààní tí àwa ọmọ ènìyàn adarí wọn tí à ń jẹ látara Olókun festival yìí láti ẹ̀yìn wá àti bí a ṣe ń tẹ̀síwájú. Ìbéèrè ẹlẹ́ẹ̀kejì ni pé ọpọ́n wo lè dá láti kó àwọn kábíyèsí wa nílẹ̀ Yorùbá ládéládé lóyè ìjọ láti jẹ́ kí wọ́n mọ válù ìṣẹ̀ṣe, torí a rí nínú àwọn ọba Yorùbá kan tí wọ́n ní ìṣẹ̀ṣe òní mínì.
So síwájú tẹ́lẹ̀ pé Olókun yìí òrìṣà ní Elédùmarè gbé ajé lé lọ́wọ́. So ìwọ tó bá ń tajà, àbí ìwọ tó nílò owó, àbí ìwọ tó ń ṣiṣẹ́ tó ń wá ìgbéga, àbí ìwọ tí ò ń ṣe àìsàn, òrìṣà Olókun yìí ò ń ṣiṣẹ́. Mi ò fẹ́ máa lọ sínú ìtàn púpọ̀, àmọ́ èmi tí mo dúró yìí, èyí fúnra mi mo jẹ́rìí wípé tí ojú bá ń pọ́n ni nígbà lórí owó àbí lórí ajé, téèyàn bá tọ̀ Olókun lọ, onítọ̀hún a máa lájé lọ́wọ́, a máa rówó ná, a máa rówó lò, á dẹ̀ máa ní ìgbéga. Àti tí bá ń ṣàìsàn, Olókun Sẹ̀ní Adé ń wo àìsàn wò. Ẹlẹ́kejì lórí ọ̀rọ̀ àwọn ọba wa tí ẹ sọ. Ṣé rí ọ̀rọ̀ tẹ́ sọ ẹ̀, ó jẹ́ ọ̀rọ̀ tó máa ń kàn mí lóminú púpọ̀, tó jẹ́ wípé ó máa ń gba omijé lójú mi nígbà míì tí mo bá kà àbí tí bá rí orú nǹkan bẹ́ẹ̀. Ṣé rí àwa ti sọ tẹ́lẹ̀tẹ́lẹ̀ rẹ̀ pé ìwọ tí o bá mọ̀ wípé o ò lè ṣe ìṣẹ̀ṣe, o ò ní business nínú pé o jọba. Ìdí nìyí, ọba aládé àwọn ni àwọn gangan la gbé ìṣẹ̀ṣe lé lọ́wọ́. Àwọn ni the grand custodian of the culture. Ńgbà tí ọba bá wà nínú ìlú tó ń ṣọdún, tó ń ṣe oríṣiríṣi, tó ń bọ òrìṣà lásìkò tí wọ́n ń dá fáàlú tí wọ́n ń gbọ́ mẹ́sẹ̀gì. Ṣé mọ̀ àwọn pàápàá ni wọ́n súnmọ́ Elédùmarè jù nínú ìlú. Àwọn Elédùmarè á tún máa bá sọ̀rọ̀ nípa ọ̀rọ̀ ìlú àti àwọn èèyàn wọn. Àmọ́gbà tó bá ìlú bá sọ pé òun ò ṣẹ̀sìn ìbílẹ̀ òun ò ṣiṣẹ́ ṣe, ẹ jọ̀ọ́ báwo ló ṣe fẹ́ rọgbọ? Nítorí èyí arọ àwọn afọbajẹ ẹni tí ò bá ti nífẹ̀ẹ́ sí ìṣẹ̀ṣe kó má jẹ́ kó dé orí oyè. Ẹ ṣé mo dúpẹ́.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Wama Obidi. I write for Wakaba. I have to compliment your beauty and also try to project our culture. Congratulations. I just have a simple question because I heard the MC talking about money and everything is money. Yes, the Olokun has been on for some time. How are you marrying it together with finance, technology? Because every business we do today that is not technology driven will die as soon as the person is off on earth or just die even while the person is home. So how are you marrying the Olokun festival, which is a very commendable traditional culture of our Yoruba people, to make sure that it's technology driven, to make the GDP, that make the money, let me put it that way, so I say. Then secondly, this Olokun festival, is it going to be only your, or do you intend to take to other clans, other ethnic group? Because I noticed that the Isheshe festival celebrated every 20th of August, which I have covered. Quite interesting for those that are traditional worshippers. Is it only the Yoruba people, or is it supposed to go around Africa, Nigeria? Thank you.
Thank you very much. I didn't quite get your name, but madam, if you had come...
My name is Wama Endo.
Miss Umama, thank you for that question. If you had come earlier, you would have listened to the speech that was made by Ms. Adironke Fowodire. She talked about wealth creation and technology before you got here. That is not my field, you know, so she talked extensively on that. She's representing the Mobi Automation Group, that's her right there. You might want to meet her after this time out, but she really, you know, she educated us on how we could merge wealth, which simply means Olokun, you know, in Yoruba language, with technology, so that, you know, it doesn't go into extinction. Thank you for that question. Also, your question about if the Olokun festival is restricted only to the Yorubas, my answer is no, because all over the world, okay, because all over the world, everybody needs money. We all need money. Money is very essential. In fact, it's the most essential of all basic things. You need money for feeding, shelter, everything, basically. You know, we need money. So the festival is not restricted to the Yorubas alone. The Igbos also worship that deity. It's just that they don't call it Olokun. And but all over the world, in Cuba, Brazil, Trinidad and Tobago, in the Americas and the UK, I think everybody knows what Olokun is. It simply means the deity of wealth. And it's not just wealth, also economic growth. Thank you.
All right, beautiful, Yeye. Question and answer segment. City people to take the question at once. She and the other lady there.
And I must say, this is the first time, oh sorry, my name is Damola Korea and I'm writing for City People magazine. Like I was saying, I must say this is the first time I'm really saying something on culture. So I'll be, my question will be in this form. What move is being made to actually bring back history to schools? I'm not talking about school, secondary school, I'm talking about bringing back to our kids. Because most of us did not experience culture until after I left home. I'd like to know how and how much you have gone into bringing back to school, crèche. Thank you very much.
Let's take the last question. Yes.
Good afternoon, everyone. I greet you especially Yeye. I greet everyone seated. I'm from the Great Benin Kingdom, and my question to you, Yeye, is that is there a difference between the Olokun that is being celebrated in Benin and the one that is being celebrated in Yoruba? And if there is no difference, what is really the origination of Olokun? Because we from Benin, I was opportunity to start knowing about Olokun from my grandmother, which is Princess Ituzemede Eweka. So I want to know, like, what is the difference and what are the similarities? Thank you very much.
Thank you, Princess, for that question. Why I'll take her question first is because the question the lady from City People asked will be answered by Honorable Adu John, because I'm a traditional person. I love traditional questions. I breathe tradition, I eat tradition, I drink tradition. Okay, Princess, you're welcome from the Great Benin Kingdom. I welcome you. There's no difference between the Olokun that is worshipped in Benin Kingdom and in Yoruba land. It is one and the same. Unfortunately, time will not permit us. I would have told the story how Olokun left Ile-Ife to Lagos and then ended a journey in Benin Kingdom as a male. The Olokun deity is androgynous. It is both male and female. It's the only Orisha that has the two energies, male and female. That is why children of Olokun are very, very strong. They're enigmas. They have their male sides and they have their female sides. You can see that I like to do things that men do because I have my male side, and I'm also a mother, you know, when my feminine side comes up, you see? So that is a story for another day. But to answer your question mildly, it is only one Olokun all over the world. Thank you.
That was what led to the development of Agenda 2063. That is the Africa you want in the next 50 years. By 2063, what type of Africa do we want to have? And that agenda have 7 aspirations. And one of the aspirations, aspiration 5, talks about an Africa with strong cultural identity. And one of the ways of getting that is what Honorable Kenny just said, developing a curriculum for the school, primary, secondary schools, to teach youth, students, about African culture. So that is one of the things that is being done. And that was one of the reasons why we took the decision to focus on culture. And then also to sensitize, enlighten, and teach some of our youth on African culture. By the time I came in, the first thing we did was to visit some of the states and we visited some of the traditional rulers. And we told them the need to be at the forefront of promoting culture, telling our youth, encouraging them to imbibe our culture. And aside from that, we had to launch a program, a project called My Culture and I. One of the main focus of that project is also to reorientate youth on the importance of our culture, because we believe firmly that if we imbibe our culture, the morals, our life, things will change. I'm telling you, a whole lot will change. There are a lot of us Yorubas, we know the way we're brought up, morally upright, greetings, show respect to others, dressings. There's no Yoruba culture, there's no Yoruba culture that promotes nudity. And that is the truth. Check our dressings. Our food are unique. In fact, like in my place, There's some soup that they will give you that are medicinal. In fact, the next day, by the time you wake up and go to toilet, you understand that something has gone on. That is our food. Our food are medicinal. Our music are unique. Our music are super, they brought super reflection. When you listen to some of our music, you see the uniqueness of the music in teaching morals. Those are things we are bringing back, and those are things we are promoting. And among that, we are also immortalizing some of our musicians that really brought Yoruba culture to the fore. Those are things that we're trying to do to promote and to get the youth interested. But are they interested? Some of the music, some of the song my brother was singing, if it were to be R&B, you see youth dancing, and in fact, all the rents, all the listeners are crammed, and they can sing it fluently, but singing Yoruba song, they are turned off. And those are things we're trying to change. And that was why we had to appoint cultural ambassadors. And before we did that, we looked at those people that are really, really into our culture. Those that we know that they are the custodians of our culture, like the High Chief from Benin, like my sister is talking, the High Chief from Benin, we have the King, and we have Yeye. We have 6 cultural ambassadors that everything about them is culture. What are we trying to do? Is to reorientate us, to bring culture and say, we must do this. I'm telling you, culture will drive every sector in Nigeria, in Africa, every sector. Talk about culture, you talk about tourism. And when you talk about tourism, you talk about food, we talk about the fashion, you talk about the music, everything. Culture will drive it. And that's why we're propagating it. My sister, thank you so much. We are appreciating you again for bringing this in.
Ladies and gentlemen, resounding applause for Yeye. And we can do our job appropriately. Ladies and gentlemen, another resounding applause for all of them. Many thanks. With all of these, I'm sure our unity and diversity will not be a mirage. On that note, because of time, this is how we're going to end the question and answer segment. Many thanks. I remain Adenike Yeye Ajiboye. Thank you.
Please put your hands together for Adenike Yeye. You know what? Sometimes in Lara, Fashola, let me appreciate you or give me the privilege of meeting my friend of a long time. Adenike, we've been friends for over 20 years. But funny enough, we've not been seen often. So Adenike, it's nice to see your face again. On this round, to call on Mrs. Gardner for the vote of thanks.
And on behalf of the Olokun Foundation, the international community, I would like to say thank you. Everybody here is a special person. For you to leave your house and come over to this place, it shows that you have a lot of respect for people and for Olokun. So thank you very much. Ladies and gentlemen, very extensive thank you to all, and it gives me an immense pleasure to deliver the vote of thanks for this event, for this press conference. And I would like to say thank you to Lara Fashola, Ambassador Lara Fashola. Thank you for putting this together. You are well respected, we respect you, we love you. You're a very bold woman, and you know what, I would like to say something. Just like a minute, I would like to say something that, whether you like it or not, Olokun is here to stay, and this Lagos itself has benefited a lot from Olokun, because this is the seat of excellence. This is where we see aquatic splendor. and you cannot take that away from Lagos. If you are in Abuja, you have to come to Lagos to also to make it. If you are, wherever you are in Nigeria, you must have been in Lagos, you must have done more business. Is it a lie? It's not, yeah. So, you know, it's not about being a Christian or Muslim, it's just about having respect for your culture and knowing where to put the dots and knowing where to do what is right.